Hello, Centennial Coyotes. This is Lindsay Holbrook, school counselor at Centennial, and I'm going to talk to you today about the sophomore college and career experience and give you a couple reminders of things that we covered or are covering this year and that will be important to you in the future. So our agenda today is to review requirements that include graduation requirements, discuss career planning and what that will look like for you, and then those students who are on campus will meet with their counselor, and those who are learning virtually, we will ask that you set up and make an appointment. So first I want to start by covering the graduation requirements. So in order to graduate from Centennial, if you start with us as a freshman, you're required to earn a total of 28 credits. And of those credits, you will need 4 credits of English, 4 credits of math, which happen to include Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and a 4th math that you select, often based on your career interest and college interest. And then 3 credits of science, and everyone starts with biology. And then from there you have the choice of classes like chemistry, physics, human physiology, environmental science, earth-space science, and then some AP offerings as well. You're also required to have 3 credits of social studies, the first of which begins in sophomore year, which is world history, which you're taking this year, followed by Arizona U.S. history as a junior and economics and government as a senior. Students are required to earn 1 credit of PE, which could also include a dance course, weight training course, a beginning weight training course, ROTC, or marching band. 1 credit of fine art or CTE, and if you recall, a fine art is going to be something, fine art or performing arts, I should say. Fine arts includes things like art, ceramics, and photo, and performing arts are dance, band, choir, theater, things where you're actually acting and doing, right? And then a total of 12 elective credits. So most of our students actually may earn more than 4 math credits, more than 3 science, etc. But once you've covered those basic first 4 or first 3, the remaining fall into that elective category. So a total of 28 credits again. And remember that you also are required to pass the civics test. If you have yet to do that, you would take that in the fall or spring by invitation. I'm going to spend just a moment to talk to you about credit recovery and what that looks like. And for students that are meeting with their counselor today, if you're behind on credit, we want you to ask about the options that could be available for you to recover credit. It is really important to us that you remain on track, and at the end of your sophomore year, to do so, you should have at least 12 credits of 16 attempts. So if you failed 4 classes over the last 4 semesters, that is all you can fail in order to remain on track with taking 8 classes in junior and senior year. But many times students who are on track, right, they're earning credit, and if you have all 16 at the end of the school year, that means you're doing quite well, and you can look forward to opportunities in the future like release time as a senior, where you might go out and get a job or take a college class or doing an internship opportunity. So for students who need to recover credit, repeating the class next school year is an option for some. Others will be invited to maybe an academic academy this summer. Others may need to attend an actual summer school class, and there are fees for this. They range up to $300 per credit, which can be quite expensive. Another way to earn credit is through community service, and you can basically do community service for elective credit. We have a process in our office. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to your counselor, talk to them about community service for credit. 60 hours at a nonprofit using our documentation, the process that we have in place, will earn you a half credit of elective. No grade is attached to that, obviously, so it doesn't impact GPA, but it does impact the amount of credits that you can earn. And if you do decide that you want to sign up for any credit outside of PUSD, our district, you must first discuss it with your counselor. This is really important because there are some rules that apply to how credit can be earned and the process by which that happens, which sometimes involves you taking our course assessment to earn that academic credit towards graduation. But safe bet is if you stick with us for our credit recovery options, there's no questions about that as long as you do the work that is being asked of you. I'm going to spend just a moment to talk about grades and course selections. And one of the things that has happened is we dropped the C or 70% requirement in core classes like algebra, geometry, biology, and English, but that doesn't mean that C's aren't still very important. So you might be asking, why are they important? Well, for students who are planning to go to college, a C is the minimum grade allowed on your transcript in those core academic areas. Also, if you plan to apply for a WestMech program or are going to WestMech next year, or plan to, from junior to senior year, apply for a program to take in senior year, those C's will be important. Student athletes will also find that C's and greater are going to be necessary for them to qualify and be eligible to play sports at the post-secondary or collegiate level. So what do your grades actually reflect? Well, for us, it reflects your effort, your discipline, often your attendance, your interest in a content area, and your willingness to really put forth a lot of effort. And so we do always want you to choose rigorous courses that will be meaningful to you in your future and that will push you to grow your knowledge base, your skills, and your content knowledge, right? And also, these rigorous courses can often connect you with your future goals. So for example, if you wanted to be a doctor, well, taking an AP biology class and getting up through AP calculus would be pretty important in getting you that preparation required for college. If you wanted to be a businessman or businesswoman and major in business and maybe start a business of your own someday, you want to make sure that your math skills are also quite good. Science maybe isn't going to be nearly as important, but excelling in that will be, as well as English, because that's where your communication skills will also grow quite a bit. So again, depending on what you want to do, your grades, they're going to be important. It's going to set the foundation also for how you might expect to work at the college level. And so we're always seeing B's or better. I want to take a moment now for GPA, which stands for your grade point average. And after now 3 semesters, you will be able to see what your GPA is and also your class rank. But I'm going to first talk about GPA. So PUSD use an unweighted GPA system. So in the past, you may have heard kids talk about having a 4.3 on a 5.0 scale. We do not do that. Our scale is a 4.0 scale where A's are worth 4 points, B's are worth 3 points, C's worth 2, D's 1, and so on. So in order to calculate your GPA, I'm going to show you how to do that. Actually, I'm not going to show you how to do that, but in order to do that, basically you're going to look at the number of credits that you've earned, and you're going to add up the points that you've earned for each class. So at this point, having 12 credits, each grade, full credit wise, you're going to give it a point value, add up those points, divide by 12, and that will get you your GPA. Your class rank now, though, is going to be dependent on 4 different factors, or actually 3 different factors, and that's going to be your grades, your choices in classes, so honors, and also the performance. Do I get A's, B's, C's, as well as what your peers are doing. So your rank is actually your position in your class. So in your class, just looking, there are 526 sophomores. So where do you fall? And this is important for many reasons when it comes to your collegiate future and how scholarship money is doled out. And so if you're taking rigorous classes and doing well, you're going to have a better rank. So we might have 75 students who have a 4.0 or straight A average, but number 1 in the class has a lot of honors classes, and number 75 maybe has 1. So that's where that matters. Now we're going to focus a little bit on college and career readiness and why we are working on what we are right now today. So for university requirements, we have 3 public universities in Arizona, and they are ASU, U of A, University of Arizona, and NAU, Northern Arizona University. And these public schools have the same requirements for admissions, and they include a 3.0 core GPA, which is B's or better in your 16 core classes. So that's English, math, science, social studies, and a fine art. They drop the requirement of having PE. They don't look at that. And they only look at 2 of your social studies credits. And the only biggest difference in adding into those 16 is that you're required to have 2 foreign language credits. And on our campus, we offer Japanese, French, and Spanish. So you could complete that requirement with Japanese 1 and 2, French 1 and 2, or Spanish 1 and 2. So that's the biggest difference. The other way to be admitted into the university is with a test score. And so as a sophomore, you might have chosen to take the pre-ACT this year, maybe not, but next year you're going to have the chance of taking the PSAT in the fall in October, and then in the spring, the ACT on our campus, which is something we offer to all juniors. So a score, an admittable score to the universities, is a 22 average score on the ACT and an 1140 on the SAT. Or you can be in the top 25% of your graduating class. So if you're to calculate where your rank is right now, your number divided by 526, that will tell you what percentage you are in your class. And for those students on campus with us today, we're going to give them a copy of their transcript. But for those of you learning online, you can go to your student view, go to course history, and you can actually download a transcript and look at that, or just look at the course history page and reveal those grades and your grade history. So these are the requirements for the 3 state universities. If you meet one of those, you would be admitted, meaning that you apply, you have a 3.2 core GPA, they will admit you. We also have an opportunity for students who might be wanting to think about the community college as their future. And in order to go to the community college or a vocational school, also called a trade school, that would require a high school diploma. The program length often varies, so vocational programs that lead often to a degree to go right to work. And sometimes our community colleges, many kids will look at a plan to transfer to a 4-year college or university, and that would be an associate's of, let's say, science to transfer. So when students are thinking about the community college, it's really important that they are looking at what is the degree program. Is it a 2-year program so that they can go right to work? So something, let's say, in the culinary field or automotive field. It could even be nursing. So there's many things that you can accomplish at the community college. So next up is military. In order to be, I guess, to join the military, you need a high school diploma. That's their minimum requirement. They still prefer that. They do sometimes make exceptions for students with GEDs, but they prefer and often they want to see that high school diploma. We do recommend that you consider junior ROTC, which is offered both at Cactus and Peoria high schools. And if you're interested in doing that and traveling to that campus for a class period, please talk with your counselor about that. We also have military recruiters on our campus. The Army comes, the Marine comes, Navy, Air Force very rarely, but we have had the National Guard here, and they come on an alternating basis, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays on campus during lunch. And if you are interested in the military, we're going to encourage you to go talk to them and start asking them questions. And for students who want to go into the military, they need to take a test called the ASVAB. And the first available time for you to do that would be your junior year. And so we will advertise that to our juniors and to you next year if you're interested in seeing what could your job or future look like in the military. And our final step today is to talk about what it means to explore careers. So we have a new platform that we are utilizing in our district called Major Clarity. And the Major Clarity platform is available to you through the educational resources on your student portal. And once you tap that link or tap that app, it will take you right to it. It'll log in with your school credentials. And this is where we're going to ask you to start really exploring what's going on. And in terms of what you want to do, what problems you might want to solve in the community, who do you want to be, what are your interests, and one of the first things we're going to do is ask our sophomores to complete a personality assessment that gives us some information on you and what you like to do. Because one of the things you're always going to hear is that if you choose something in your future where you have some joy attached to it, something you like to do, you're going to be far happier. And so if you choose for different reasons, you might choose to live to work or work to live. It just really depends for many people, but we do want you to really explore what it means for you in the working world and what Major Clarity can help you in terms of finding careers that are a best fit and understanding things by listening to interviews, doing some of their activities to really see, does this make you light up? Is this something of interest to you? Other things that are going to happen are assessments. And so, like I explained, the pre-ACT will lead to the ACT, PSAT, SAT, and AZ Merit. These tests are all kind of important in terms of making sure that you meet some college and career readiness standards. So please always know that they are still important. We still value them, and they do give us some great information. And finally, we want our sophomores to really start to understand if there's a career in the future that you really are interested in, what will it take educationally or training-wise for you to get there? So really spend some time trying to understand the degrees that would be required to enter into that job field. So sometimes you need to work back. So what is the ultimate end game goal that I want, and what will it take for me now, and what should I be doing now to get there, right? So that includes things like, what classes do I choose now? What's the best place for me to go to school in terms of, like, do I need a 2-year degree, which is the community college? Not everybody needs to go to a 4-year college, but it is important to know what is the degree required, what is the training required, are there apprenticeships in which I can go and train to do this versus going to an expensive vocational school. So we want you to really start to think about those things as you make plans for your future. And know that we understand that you are likely going to make changes, and you may change your mind after you take some classes, some more classes next year, or maybe even this semester you're in a class that you thought you'd love, and now you're realizing maybe that isn't an area that you want to explore for your future, but you're still always building skills, and you're always going to have an opportunity where you can gain more knowledge and understanding of things. There are things that I've learned along my life that I've appreciated as I become a counselor, because I continually use things, especially when it concerns technology, which I never thought my career would have to involve a lot of technology, but in fact it really does, and especially during the pandemic. So as you explore major clarity today and you follow the remaining directions, we hope that you really enjoy this experience. And for those of the students that are with us, they will be meeting individually with their counselor. And those of you that are at home, we're going to ask you to follow the steps on our website and then reach out to your counselor, make an appointment, and so that we can meet in and check with you too. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.